Well, everybody, welcome to Digital Mastery. I'm Bill Zeltman. We're at Century 21 Integra, and we are actually talking about MoxieWorks today as we just got started here. We just got in kind of an impromptu conversation about sending, how to send a client houses. Well, let me start by saying this before I go through anything else with anybody. Never, ever, ever send people properties using the MLS. And nope, right. And everybody looks shocked. I've been saying this for years. And every time I do it, people get shocked and they say, what? And then they, especially here in Florida, I always like to give people my sticker shock. Do you know what I pay for everything in New Jersey? Everything. Board and MLS. A couple $100. It's for people that are joining from up there. We pay close to $1,000 here, and they just raised it again. My MLS subscription for the year is about $100. And ours is no better here than it is there.
But don't we have to have that MLS in order to be in Century?
You do. So I say all that as you spend all this money to tell you that it's not a great use, and let me explain why. If you send, let's just say I'm your client, and I come to you and I say, hey, Tina, I want to find a pre-approved for $500,000. I really want either a 3 or 4 bedroom house. I want it to be in Lutz. I want a lanai, and I want a pool. Okay, Bill, I'm going to start sending them to you. So now you go home, you take my information, you put it into the multiple listing service, and I start getting emails from you. I get a first email with a whole bunch of listings. Then I get follow-up listings from you, right? Every time a new house that meets my criteria, maybe you put in 425 to 500,000 or whatever criteria you put in. So I'm looking through, and all of a sudden I say to myself, you know what? I didn't tell her, but I'd also do Tampa Palms. So maybe I call you and say, hey, can you also add Tampa Palms to that? Which you can, no problem. Maybe I call you and you're not available. You're with other clients. You're just not available. Maybe I don't call you. And what do I do? In any of those other scenarios, what do? I go into Zillow. Isn't that where everybody goes? Or homes.com or realtor.com. And I find the perfect home in Tampa Palms. Now, maybe I call you and say, hey, I found this on Zillow. Can we go see it? Maybe I call you and again, you're not available right there, but I'm excited. So what do? I look at the side and pick a Zillow agent that's paying to be there, call them, and guess what you are? Out.
Even though you have the contract?
Good luck enforcing it. They'll sign a contract too, and good luck. And so I say all that to say this. If you use your website, your Moxie site, and you go and you create a listing for them, they are now on, and I didn't preface with this, whenever you send a list out using your MLS, you're sending a hard list that is frozen. In other words, if you send me 5 homes, I've got 5 homes. When you send me a list from Moxie, I, as the client, just like I'm on Zillow, have the ability to change any of the criteria. So I can add Tampa Palms to it. I can go search anything I want. I can create a whole new search. You know what? I told her I absolutely have to have a pool. Let's see what's there without pools. Anything that my brain goes, and guess what on your website? You're the only realtor on it. So my temptation to go anywhere else is gone. Also, to answer your question, just because you put me into Moxie, just because you did a search for me, even through the MLS, doesn't necessarily mean I have a buyer's broker agreement with you. We haven't gone to see any houses yet. So you may not have that yet. Make sense?
Well,
Yeah, I know nobody wants to hear that, but
because it has everything in there, so I just want to use that, so I appreciate that.
yeah, and that also, guys, if I can, any which way I can say this, and I'm a huge person for this. As I'm looking, no, I don't know what you're using there, but yeah, everything I own is Apple. Yeah, and the reason everything I own is Apple. Now, some people, they have this, they have this, they have that, they have whatever. I like having it all in one thing because everything just works together. I can work on my phone and pick it up on my desktop, on my laptop, on my desktop, on my iPad that's sitting in my office right now. It all works the same way, and that for me makes sense. Now, I know not for everybody, whatever. There are people that are, and again, I'm using Apple because that's what I use. It doesn't matter. I'm not telling you to buy this brand or not buy that brand, but I like the fact that it all works together. Moxie is the same way. Your website, your CRM, your everything else, if you use it, works the same way. Now, I'm a hypocrite with this because I've used the Moxie website for years, but in my short time where I stepped away from Century 21 and didn't have Moxie, I built my own website. It's on the same platform, but it's my build, and I've done web design for 15 years, so I know how to do it. But my Century 21 in New Jersey is still Moxie, and it's a great product. And the thing that I have a disconnect with now because of exactly that is that my Moxie CRM and my website don't work perfectly together because they're not in the same platform. So if you guys use the Moxie for all these things, it all works in that platform. So I highly recommend it.
So which one, how do we get to Moxie?
My Moxie
My Moxie?
.century21.com. So let's get in there.